Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Alhamdulillah. Dear friends and colleagues, by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are continuing our program learning Arabic grammar. Alhamdulillah, we have our teacher, Ustadh Hamid, with us today as well to teach us on his curriculum on Arabic grammar. Before we start today's session, let's look at what we have learned from last class. So, Alhamdulillah, we have learned sun and moon letters in our last class. We have seen non-harakat writing in Arabic, as well as we have seen morphology, which means the study of word structure and forms. For example, learn how prefixes, suffixes, and root letters create different Arabic words. And then we also learn sarf, which is conjugation, and nahwi mean declination of words. And then we have also learned the rule of hamza, like hamzatul wasl and hamzatul qat. So by saying that, would like to let our Ustad to continue, and also if he wants to review any of the materials with us on any important point, if you want to mention, please go ahead.
Let me share my screen. All right. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalatu wassalamu ala sayyidil mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajma'in. Rabbi shahli sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. We last class we looked at Hamzatul Wasl and Hamzatul Qata'. Wasl means the alif will have that wasl, the sword of the wasl sitting there, basically, to identify them. That little sword sign, half sword sign, that sits on top of alif, that's called Hamzatul Wasl. That's not a Dhamma. So these are, when wasls are there, these are alif that doesn't carry any haraka, so it may not be pronounced if needed. Like Bismillah, Bismillah, this alif is a wasl of Allahu. So even though his word is Allahu, but we will never say Bismi Allahu. We never say that. We say Bismillah. But if the Bismi is not there, then this wasl will take an assumed harak of Fatha, and we say Allahir Rahmanir Rahim. Because then you take the default what is understood, it has to be A. But if we don't need to pronounce, then we can ignore it. Like Bismillah, we don't need to pronounce alif. So that's called wasl. And another one, Qata'. Qata' will have definite Hamza sign on the alif, and it will carry haraka. So wa iyyaka. So Hamza has a haraka. So it has to be pronounced clearly. We cannot say wayya, will be wrong, because Hamza has to be pronounced. We cannot ignore the this alif. So wa'iyya versus wayya. So we should not say wayya, it should be wa'iyya. So that was basically our where we stopped last class. Today, inshallah, we'll see what we can do next. What we'll do next is a little tidbit things. Is sometimes we have problems with understanding the ya. Sometimes alif to ya, we jump from first letter to last letter of the alphabet. Where do we have any dot signs or no dot signs? That's the thing. Usually, the Quran manuscripts will not carry any dots. Like the original Quranic script, they didn't have any dots. So always we'll find ya written without two dots. But when you write as those initial letters, then you can carry the dots. But other than that, there is no dot. Like here's an example of writing Yajlisu Ali al kursi. So that Ali, that ya has no dots, Allah no dots, kursi. So Ali sits upon the chair. So that's what it is in Arabic. So everyone has alif, but this ya will have a dot because you need to have this dot to identify it is ya or noon or ba. So you have these dots, but other than that, none of the ya has any alif on it, dots on it. So we have to always assume ya will not get any dots. We'll have a couple of kinds of ya. Ya with no dots, but we'll have tashkil on it. Means it has haraka on it. So it can have this form. So that means it is really pronounced like ya. So ya fatha, when it has a tashkil ya fatha, then we have to pronounce ya, like hudaya, khizyi, al khizyi. So you have to pronounce that ya, because ya gets getting a haraka. Remember, there's no dots, but zawai, qawi. So it's all pronounced properly. The ya is pronounced properly because ya is having haraka on it. So when ya is a haraka or tashkil, it will be pronounced accordingly. There is no ya will be pronounced very clearly. But like some cases where ya will have nothing on it, like this case on the right, al-lazi, look at that, ya doesn't have any tashkil on it. So when this happens, how do we pronounce the ya? So the rule is, if you see it, a kasra before that, it will be just an elongation, act like a mad. Just like a mad. Al-lazi, even though this ya is sitting there, no dots, but the previous letter had a haraka of kasra, so it will be al-lazi, just one mad elongation. But sometimes it also can have, can be pronounced with a, depending on what is before that. That means like the ya before letter was a lam and had a fatha on it, so it will be pronounced ila, ila. So that ya is just a sitting mud. It can pronounce like a, it can pronounce like e, depending on what the letter is before that, what kind of tashkil it has. So it has a, so it will pronounce ila, not ilai, something, not ila, because it has a little alif maksura sitting there. We say ila, but it's, even you don't have it, you can still pronounce ila because of this ya sitting after lam and fatha after that. Before that, ila. Fi, see, wafi, it just fi gets one elongation. That's called ya with nothing on it. So ya has nothing on it means it will be pronounced based e or a, depending on what sign is before the previous letter. Sometimes we'll see alif will have something like a, that we call it alif maksura, or alif al-kinziriya, or dagger alif, like this. So it has to be pronounced with 1 month elongation. But this is 3 months because it's some of the grammatical tajweed rules. But ala, so in those, ya has really, it's a kind of sitting chair for the alif. Ya has never been pronounced. So ya will be pronounced when we see ya getting a haraka. Other than that, ya is never pronounced. It's just a seat to elongate the mud of the a or e sound, depending what was the letter before that. So that's little tidbits before you go to the real class. We haven't started yet. We're just preparing ourselves. The next is basically, next topic is the parts of speech in Arabic language. Aqsamul kalam. In English, we have really 7-8 parts of speech, like noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb, interjection, verb, preposition, conjunction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But in Arabic, all 8 types can be divided into 3 classes: noun or ism, ism or noun, fi'l or verb, harf or letters. And the noun will basically cover the English noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb, interjection, all will be denoted as noun in Arabic. Verb is a verb, and prepositions and conjunctions that we have in English language, those will be called harf or letters in Arabic. So Arabic has 3 parts of speech: ism, fi'l, harf. Is simpler, much simpler than English language. It has only 3 parts of speech. So ism, fi'l, harf. Now, how do we understand the definition of harf, ism, fi'l? How do I distinguish them? Like, this is the classification. What is the easy way to distinguish noun and a verb and letters? So there is a little definition that we need to understand, and we'll improvise over time. The basic meaning of a noun is, let's do the noun first. Noun is a word that possesses independent meaning, but there's no time factor in it. There's no time element in it. So it has an independent meaning, but it has no time factor in it. Like book, kitabun, book. Book has independent meaning. Book is a book. It has a meaning, but book doesn't have any tense to it. Like book in the past, book in the today, or book tomorrow. There's nothing like that. Book is a book. It can stay without time. It doesn't need any time element. This is called ism. And ism can have, as I said, it can be pronoun, can be adjectives, and can be adverbs. Everything can come into ism as long as it has independent meaning and it has no time element. Of course, nothing will have. Like green is an adjective. Green word has no time element, and it is independent word. We can understand meaning of green. We can understand meaning of book. We can understand the name, somebody's name. We can know that. We understand that. Or who are he? We understand that. It's easy to understand that part, but it has no time element. For the verb, is anything, any of the word, it has independent meaning, but it has a time value on it, time factor added to it. That means it has a tense added to that word, then it becomes a verb. So the verb that has a time element, it has independent meaning, then it is called a fi'l. Like if I say, let's say if I say akala, means he ate. So he ate in the past tense. So that is not a noun, because it clearly ate is an independent word, ate, or if I say a word called akala, he ate, meaning is he ate. Qatala, he killed, he ate. So these are words, but these words has independent meaning, but all of them had a tense added to it. There's a tense to it, that something has happened in the past tense. So these kind of words is very simple. These kind of words, we call it, we call this verbs. That's easy to understand. So what is remaining then? Anything that is not a noun, anything that is not a verb, will all go into half bucket. This bucket will be anything that is not a verb, anything that is a noun. So what will be, so if you use a filter, like a filter like this, and put the Arabic dictionary, and we can filter out what's happening here. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? So if you have a filter, and then you can filter the thing that has a time element, that's all verb. The rest will be noun and a half. Out of the noun and a half, ism and a half, that thing that has independent meaning, they'll go to ism, but something will not go to independent meaning. Like if I say, think word like, let's say in, word like in. I have problem with that. Let's say, what's happening with my keyboard? If I use word called, say, in or fee, in has no independent meaning. In, or Arabic fee in what? It has no independent meaning. So it's such a small word, it cannot sustain by itself. Or so these in or with, be, with, these be, fee, what you call with, these words, it's a word, but it doesn't have independent meaning. So all these called prepositional conjunctions, like conjunction, interjection, all will go into the bucket called harf. So harf is those words that that cannot stay independently, and it doesn't fit into the noun category. So it's kind of blurry sometimes to find out which one is harf, which one is ism. We'll know a little bit as we go down the line of understanding. So in English, it shows called letter. Letter really doesn't mean a letter. It has it looked like a word, but it's not a word. Like something like fee, inna, if, in, if, iza, when, man, who. All these are harf. even though it is not one letter word. It's a 2-letter, 3-letter, 2-letter, 2-letter makes a word, but these words has no independent meaning. We call them harf. All right, so now, is there any way to know, identify what a noun look like? The noun look like, there's a couple of, I put few clues for the beginners to identify noun in the Arabic language. One is, it has a definite article, alif lam before that. Different article means alif lam. The word starts with, has an alif lam before that. If it has that, then it is definitely a noun. Or some word ending with a kasra, then it's a noun. Or it has a tanween, then also is a noun. Or ends with ta marbuta, which is this sign, that's also a noun. So if you use this formula and try to go to our old Surah Fatiha, so we will know that Ar-Rahman is a noun, Ar-Rahim is a noun, Allah, Alif Lam is a noun. Here there is a kind of noun and a particle sitting there. Alif Lam is a noun, Rab is a noun, Al-Amin is a noun. Rab, we don't know the meaning, but at least without knowing the meaning, since this whole word has Alif Lam before that, it's a noun. Alif Lam ad-Din is a noun. Rest, it's kind of hard. We haven't studied that. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim is a noun. Rest is kind of hard since we haven't studied it. So, but we can, what I'm trying to do is go through some easy signs to identify a noun. And it gives a ta marbuta, like it ends with this ta marbuta, or small ta. That is then it will be as a noun. Any word that ends with the ta marbuta is a noun. Any word that ends with a tanween, any kind of tanween is a noun. All right, so let's look at the one and final topic of today's class, which is definite and indefinite articles. So let's say if I write kitabun, this means a book. This is called indefinite. A book, which book, I don't know. A book. But if I write al kitabu, hamzatul wasl, kitabu, this means the book. So it means the author, the writer is looking for a definite book. Kitabun, a book, any book is okay. The book, they're looking for a definite kind of book. So always alif lam means the book, like that. But in Arabic, there's I brought an example, interesting ayah to say that Arabic has more than just the. In English, the means the is definite article. It just identify the noun, but in Arabic, it does more than definiteness. That al sometimes al can do more than just definiteness. Like look at this example, like alhamdu lillah. So hamdun means a praise, indefinite. So when you put al before that, then it becomes alhamdu. The meaning should have been the praise. That's English translation. Literal translation should have been hamd means praise. Alhamdu should have been the praise. But we see here the translation says all praises. Lillah, to Allah. Where did the author find all praises? Why didn't he write the praise? That's the thing. So in Arabic, in cases where translator can think both ways, especially when the word is kind of a adjective type noun, not like book. This cannot kind of this is a solid object, but this is an some sort of non-tangible adjective type object, which hamd, praise, we cannot touch it. These things sometimes can be meant all forms of. So al means all forms of the noun. So alhamd means all forms of hamd, all forms of praises belongs to Allah. So alhamdulillah is not a simple translation. You can say in literal translation in English language would have been the praise belongs to Allah, Rabb of the Alameen, Rabb of the worlds. But there is another level of meaning we can interpret, is we can say all forms of praises belongs to Allah. It makes more sense. So doesn't matter how we try to say, we can say as a human being, we say Alhamdulillah, but the birds will say another way, the tree will say another way, sun and moon will say another way. But any form, people, all the creations are praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any forms of way creation can praise his Lord, everything is included. All belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of the world. So it has more deeper meaning by looking at the meaning of the al. So the interesting part is looking at this surah Inshira, verse ayah 5 and 6, where we see exact duplication coming twice. Like fa inna ma'al usri yusra, inna ma'al usri yusra. Other than fa, if you take the fa out, they look exactly the same. Inna ma'al usri, inna ma'al usri yusra. So what does it mean? Ma means with. Inna means certainly. We'll come later. Don't worry about them. I'm just giving. Usr means difficulty. Yusr means ease. Ease. Solution. So what literal translation says, certainly, thus, certainly, with the difficulty, there is ease. Certainly, with the hardship is a ease, or will be a ease, or is a ease, because it can be in present tense or could be in future tense. Both ways I can write. Again, I'm saying certainly with hardship, the hardship, there is ease. Now if I use this trick that I use for alhamdu, that translation can be different. I can say like this: thus, certainly, with every possible difficulties, because al means every possible. So we can say certainly with every possible problems, there are solutions. There is a solution. So every possible has a solution. And if you look at that, Allah has made solutions without alif lam, indefinite. What that means, that there, of course, there are more than one solutions up there. That's why Allah Ta'ala kept it indefinite. And usr is definite. So I can say for every possible problems, there are more than one solutions. Bring it, you can find it, because that's why it was not made with alif lam. So staying indefinite means there are many users available somewhere. You have to find it out. So since it is indefinite, it has to be at least two. Otherwise, two or more solutions are there. So what Allah is saying here, if you very carefully understand that, certainly with all possible difficulties, there are solutions, at least two. So this is consoling to Prophet ﷺ. He's in Makkah life and he's having difficult problem, and he's getting frustrated. What to do? It's so much problem. They're attacking everyone, and it's so much everywhere. There's a problem. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, comforting Prophet ﷺ, don't worry. For every possible difficulties that you are facing now, there are at least two solutions, because yusr is not bounded. Now he can say, then I can translate this one. What about the problem of I cannot pray in front of the Kaaba, they're beating me up. What should I do? Then Allah is saying, certainly with this problem that you're facing now today, hardship that you're having in mind, that also has a solution. So he can translate both ways. For every possible problems, there are solutions. And the problem that you're thinking now, there are at least two solutions sitting there. So there are eases everywhere. There's a problem, there's an ease. Don't worry. Don't worry, oh Prophet, do not worry about your situations. Everything will be handled. I know there are difficulties. There are lots of difficulties, but there are more than solutions for, if there are 6 difficulties, there are at least 12 solutions sitting there. At least 12. It was made indefinite. So now, based on what we have learned, the last little topic that I want to explain, like somebody says, let's say somebody want to greet salamun, salam, without indefinite. So what that means, salamun alaikum means peace be on you, the peace be on you, that's translation. The peace be on you, upon you, the peace upon you. But if I don't have the alif lam before that, then salamun alaikum, if somebody says like that, then it would mean this is a peace, because indefinite. So let a peace be upon you. A peace be on you. A peace be on you. If I keep it indefinite, because I didn't specify which peace I want upon you. So let Allah choose, let Allah select for you a good peace and be on you. But if I say alif lam with alif lam before that, then it could mean, oh Allah, give him all possible forms of peace upon him, upon them, upon you too, upon you all, upon you. So assalamu alaikum giving me basically saying that if I say that, I'm not limiting the barakah or the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to a certain one kind that could be enough for us. But we are saying, let all possible forms of peace that Allah has and can willing to give, let be on that person in front of me, or the persons in front of me be blessed with. So in that point of view, this salutation is more, this assalamu alaikum salutation has more value added to it grammatically, that you are really considering every possible cases, all possible parts of peace be upon you versus a peace be on you. So Allah will decide which peace, which shanti, which peace you want to give it to you versus all possible forms of peace be on you. So see, this little alif lam can go just different article. In English looks simple, book the book, tree the tree, the bottle the milk the milk. It has star, the star, it has nothing, just pointing definitely, but it can have a little bit more meaning in the Arabic language. So with that I conclude. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.
Oh, Alhamdulillah, that is very beautiful learning for us, especially the way you have mentioned about this is a common mistake from some people. I have personally experienced, like when we sit at the mosque, after the salam taslim, we say assalamu alaikum, but because we are saying it lower tone, the person might not hear as they might hear salam alaikum. And there was one time one brother was like, hey, you are saying it wrong, you're not saying it right. Right after the salah, I got a little bit unprepared. I was like, I did say assalamu alaikum, but you probably heard salam alaikum. But it doesn't harm. It just, a dua, peace. Sometimes some people say salam,
Right.
salamun alaikum, many verses in the Quran that we also
That is
see.
in all the good part is all the salam in the hereafter is salamun alaikum. That's salamun alaikum. Never assalamu alaikum. But in this world, we need more peace. In Jannah, everything is peace. So anything is, we don't need every possible thing. It's all we are sitting in every possible peace. So that's why in there is only one salamun alaikum. But here we just put alif lam before that. In grammatically, it means you can deserve more than what Allah can give be on you. It's Allah is giving you, it's not me who is giving you. Let Allah give you all possible forms of peace.
Amin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you barakah and reward you abundantly for sharing your knowledge. Alhamdulillah, we have reached the end of our time today. Jazakallahu khairan again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum.